Hey, you guys, I just had to jump on because I had the most interesting thing that happened to me today. Hello, my name is Professor Godfrey. I've been teaching for approximately 30 years now, and I have seen everything in the medical field. I am a registered medical assistant, phlebotomy tech, medical billing and coding. I have quite a few certifications that I have received over the years. Enough about me. I can't stress enough how important it is for all of you medical assistants, phlebotomists, sonographer, lab tech, whatever field you're in. I cannot stress enough the importance of learning AI. I know it's scary. I know there are a lot of uncertainty when it comes to AI, but I'm going to tell you that train has left the station. There is nothing we can do to stop AI. And you cannot say, I will not learn AI because I'm against it or I'm afraid of it or it's this or it's that. AI is taking over our field. And so, what you need to do is learn everything you need to learn as far as being a medical assistant and being able to keep your job. I had an experience today where I was talking to a medical assistant. It's summertime, as most of us know, and so in the summers I don't work. I usually go back into the field to stay abreast with what's going on. So sometimes I help out different clinics, hospitals, whatever. What's important is for you to listen to what I'm saying. I was speaking to a medical assistant today, and she was upset that the doctor wanted her to set up the telemedicine account and set up the AI account in order to record the patient. You know, the documentation that we usually type, it's now being done by AI in some of these offices and soon most offices, and later on, all offices. She was upset because she felt that AI is taking our jobs and AI is taking over and she doesn't believe in AI. It doesn't matter what we think. You must learn how AI is going to come alongside. Can't take our job. We're still in a field where AI can't take over everything. We still have to do the hands-on. We still need the human being to talk to the patient, to lay eyes on the patient, right? We still need a backup person to take the blood pressures and all that good stuff. That is not going away, but I must tell you, you have to learn AI and find out how it's going to change things. What do we need to do? Incidentally, the doctor is talking about letting this young woman go because he's not going to stop bringing on artificial intelligence just because she doesn't want to learn it. He want to now find someone who's willing to do everything it takes so he can focus on the patients because it's going to be our job. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going to want us to set up the accounts. They're going to want us to learn AI. They're going to want us to troubleshoot it and make sure everything is running smoothly. It started with COVID when telemedicine became big. Telemedicine have always been around, right? It started with doctors visiting the homes for years and years and years. That stopped in most areas, and then once COVID hit, COVID was a game changer. That was the first game changer I've seen since I've been in the field. Like I said, for almost 30 years. It was the first game changer, and you guys know it was a huge game changer, right? So, as a professional coder, the telemedicine section of the book, the coding manual, were just a few pages. Now it's almost as thick as the surgery section. There are a lot of telemedicine codes, right? If any of you know about the coding manual, it is pretty thick and it's going to expand because of COVID. Now we're seeing another game changer with artificial intelligence, and that's going to be bigger than how COVID have changed the medical field. What I have done was wrote an ebook for you guys, anyone who's interested. Medical assistant. I have medical assistant on the cover of the ebook. The title of the ebook, as you can see, is Clinical Technology Medical Assistant. But it's for anyone who's in the medical field who want to know, one, how AI is going to turn over, how AI, is going to change things, and what you need to learn in order to stay abreast of the changes and stay marketable. That's what's important, not how you feel about artificial intelligence. Now, if you just want to leave the field and go somewhere else, I guarantee you AI is going to be there too. So, what can you do to be in control of what you have to do? You need to learn, learn, learn. And it's not difficult, it's pretty easy, right? So, I've written a book you see on the screen. It's an ebook. You can go to the site. I'm going to put a link. You can go, you can download it. It's just $1. I wanted to make it free, but the site I use wouldn't let me. It's just $1. Download it. It gives you the soup to nuts, everything you need to learn, what's coming up, because they're going to need more medical assistants, more nurses, more of everything as far as allied health in the field, right? But they're looking specifically for people who understand this language. Download the book, learn what you need to learn, take out what you already know, right? Excuse me, it's the end of the day, but I had to get on and record this, and learn what you don't know. Use your resources. I am going to try, before I return to work in the fall, to have a workshop, if you will, for those of you who are interested in really learning, and it's going to be in depth, right? Really learning what's AI about, and all the tools that you need to be familiar with. Okay, will you use everything? No. Some offices will not do half of the stuff that I have in a book, but I'm a huge believer when it comes to immersive learning and learning all that you can. That's why I have so many certifications, right? Besides my undergrad, learning all that you can so you can be prepared. There's a big change coming. It is not scary, right? It doesn't have to be scary. And before I go, I want to tell you what artificial intelligence is in a nutshell, to dispel any rumors. Artificial intelligence is just all of the information every human being, under every profession, right? That have added to a computer, right? All the data that's been put into the computer, right? All of it. Since the beginning of computing, it is a compilation of all of that information, right? You ever heard someone say, just because you delete something, that doesn't mean it's gone forever? Right. Everything that was placed in the computer, all of that data has been brought together to answer questions, to come up with solutions. That data come from human beings and what we put in the computer, right? It comes from the data that was inputted. So it's able to answer a question you may have. For instance, what angle do I hold the needle when I'm doing a venipuncture, right? It's able to answer the question because it will pull from all of the information that was put in the computer about venipuncture, right? It is not a human being. It can't think on its own, right? And I know that's another conversation, but it cannot think on its own. It's pulling from what we humans put in, right? That's basically what it is. So you're using data that was inputted into the computer to make your life a little easier. I'm going to give you an example before I get off. I went to the doctor, this was about 4 weeks ago. They took me back to the room after I signed in on a tablet. There was no reception, or receptionist, I should say. The nurse came from the back. She took me to the back. She sat me in a chair. There was a big screen in the room. I was in a specialist office, and that chair took my height, my weight, and EKG in the one chair. I just sat there, and everything came up on the screen within a matter of minutes. And then the doctor came in, said what he had to say, checked what he needed to check. And then another person came up on the screen after he left and finished out my visit. This thing is huge and it's serious, and I don't want to see any of my students, my former students, my future students, my present students. I don't want to see any of you fall behind because you're afraid of this thing. What I want you to learn is everything you need to learn for your profession, and it's all in this ebook. Go to the website, click on whatever, and there are several ebooks on there, and I hope to add more later on. Click on the ebook, download as many as you want, and learn what you need to learn, because in 5 years the landscape is going to change.